Greetings. This little video. Um, this is the double doors on the back of my shop, and this is one of my workbenches with all the hanging tools above it. And I'm sorting through stuff and putting stuff away and trying to find places to put everything. There's supposed to be drawers under that bench, but I haven't got them built yet. I just got crap stashed in there in boxes. There's my original Bedini wheel that I built many moons ago. I love that Bedini wheel. So anyway, there's my Bedini wheel. That's my electronics workbench with lots of bins and stuff underneath of it to store electronics parts, and my soldering station. This is my testing bench, and with all my batteries down below. There's eight of the 6-volt golf cart batteries, and then there's 8 of the 12-volt lawn and garden batteries, and they all come up to these terminals right here. And then I have a charger that sits here, and I just move it from battery to battery to keep them all up and charged when I'm not using them. So that's my charging station. There's my tools on that wall. There's my board. This is my second video because I had a circuit on that board. Matt would know what the circuit is, but that I didn't want anybody to see, so I made the whole dang video and realized right in the middle of it I videoed my circuit, so I had to tear it apart. But anyway, there's the back wall of my shop with all my storage bins, and I got storage up here. There's a big beam that comes down from the ceiling, and so I have shelves built on both sides of it all the way along the top up there. Then shelves there with all kinds of storage bins down there for big stuff, and then back over in here along this wall are my storage bins for all my nuts, bolts, screws, electronic parts, odds and ends, this, that, and the other thing that I needed a place to put stuff in. There's like this bin, old pool balls. This bin, old golf balls, rollers, relays, just stuff. Anyway, that's my shop. That's where I do all my work. This is my place. Now, why did I make this video? I made this video to begin with to show you this. I'm going to take you on a rotor tour. Here's my original rotor. 1/4 inch thick. I pressed the magnets in and they kept flying out. No matter how small I made those holes and pressed the magnets in, they would vibrate out. There's one of the rotors like that. That still has magnets in it. I probably had about 12 of these. I've given them away to people in pairs, telling them put a piece of plexiglass between the pair and magnets on both sides, and it'll work for you. Okay. From that, I went to basically the same rotor, only it's a 1/2 inch thick. And the magnets are pressed in from both sides. And there's a little piece of plastic in the middle. So I made one of those. I made a second one of those because I had more than one machine. This is actually the rotor that was on my coil tester when because I wanted to see what the output was from the coils with these smaller magnets, and so that rotor got put on my coil tester machine. My coil tester machine was my original build of this machine. That's it right there. That's the first one I put together. I didn't have this iteration of it because I think I showed you the video where I had blocks that were really thick and the coil set into them and you put a block on top. Well, this is the first version of this machine where the coils slid in from the end and they go through, and then the core pokes out a little hole on the other side. So that's the first version of that. And it had the big rotors like that in it, and I put a rotor like this in it to see how it would produce. And as a matter of fact, maybe I'll go back to one of those No, I'm gonna stay with that. So anyway, Okay, and then I went to, when I realized magnetic neutralization was required, I went to the rotor that had 6 big magnets, and then it had 6 magnets around the outside that would line up with the stator when the rotor magnets were lined up with the coil. And then I decided to go with the smaller magnets and see what the output was, and it wasn't as much output. So I went to a machine that had all these magnets in it and also had the magnets around the outside, and something went wrong. I don't remember what it was, but I ended up popping all the magnets out of this one and making another one. This one still has magnets in it on both sides, but the opposition magnets, the square opposition magnets, are gone from the outside. And then finally, this rotor right here, which is the one I'm going to put in this machine, it just has 12 magnets in it, and unfortunately the piece of plastic that they gave me was not quite thick enough, so you can see the magnets stick out on both sides, which I really don't like, but that's what I'm going to have in that machine, so we'll see what happens with it. But anyway, that's it, and that's, I want to tell you, these are all stored in a big case with a piece of 3/4 inch plywood between each one. I'm keeping this one and I'm keeping that one. Anybody wants any of these other ones, you're more than welcome to them. If you want to pay for shipping, you can have the rotor if you pay for the shipping. I don't want the rotors. I'm not going to use them. And if you think that you could take advantage of one of these rotors to build something with, be my guest. The shaft diameter for these is right here. I think that's 5/8. I believe it is. I believe it's 5/8. 5/8 all thread is what I use, and then I use a bearing that won't quite fit on here, and then I have this turned down a little bit to accommodate the bearing. So, and then I put nuts on it that have set screws in them. So anyway, that's my rotor tour. That's my shop tour. This is where I live. So, and there's my view out the back window. The drop off down to the river. So pretty nice.